The history of the covenant is a history of divine intervention, where God alters the very identity of his chosen to align them with his eternal purpose. We see this with Abram becoming Abraham and Sarai becoming Sarah. But perhaps the most profound transformation occurred at the river Jabbok. This compels us to ask, why did God change the name of Jacob, the man known for cunning and deceit, to Israel, a name which means prince with God? And what does this change reveal about God's redemptive power? This shift in name is not a simple label. It is the revelation of a new destiny purchased through agonizing submission. Many have read the powerful, dramatic scene where Jacob wrestles with a mysterious man until dawn, yet few fully grasp the theological necessity of the name change that followed. We know the event, but do we truly know the reason why God chose that specific moment and that precise meaning, Israel, to define his entire covenant people thereafter? The common misunderstanding views the change of name as a reward for Jacob winning a physical fight. But God's transformation is never based on human strength. It is based on divine purpose. The original name Jacob meant supplanter or heel catcher, an identity earned through deceit from birth, stealing Esau's birthright and blessing. The change to Israel was a complete reversal of character, signifying that the old, striving, manipulating self had finally surrendered. We are about to uncover the profound truth that God changes our nature before he secures our destiny. The context for this renaming is set during Jacob's return to the land of Canaan, facing his estranged brother Esau and consumed by fear. The transformation occurs at a singular, intense moment, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Genesis 32:24. After the man could not prevail against him, he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh, and the limb was put out of joint. Then came the demand and the revelation. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaketh." And he said, "I will not let thee go, except thou bless me." Genesis 32:26. The new identity was then sealed by the divine messenger. And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." Genesis 32:28. The scene ends with Jacob acknowledging the sacred ground. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Genesis 32:30. The primary reason God changed Jacob's name to Israel is rooted in covenant purpose and theological principle of transformation through surrender. The change was not a reward for physical strength, but an acknowledgement of Jacob's perseverance in faith and his final, desperate submission to the divine will. First, redefining the covenant. The change of name severed Jacob's identity from his past sin, supplanter, and linked him directly to the future of the covenant. The name Israel, prince with God, or he strives with God, signifies that his power came not from cunning, but from prevailing with God, through desperate prayer and dependence. Second, affirming the new nature. The wrestling match was the narrative logic for the transformation. Jacob did not prevail by winning. He prevailed by refusing to let go, holding on to the divine until he received the blessing. This persistent clinging demonstrated the new nature of Jacob's faith, a faith that fought through the night of his own fear and self-reliance, culminating in a surrender so complete that his physical strength was permanently crippled, the hollow of his thigh. God allowed the struggle to break Jacob's self-dependence, ensuring that his future would be built entirely on grace and divine strength. The new name announced that the supplanter was gone. The prince who prevails through dependence had arrived. The mystery of the name change holds a profound prophetic connection and reveals the ultimate symmetry between the wrestling man and the greater work of the Redeemer. The hidden layer lies in the permanent nature of the physical wound. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day. This permanent weakness was the symbolism of his strength. Israel's future, the 12 tribes, would always carry the visible mark of their founder's limp, a perpetual reminder that their ability to prevail rests solely on the grace of God, not on human maneuvering. This transformation is a profound foreshadowing of Jesus. The wrestling man at Peniel was a pre-incarnate appearance of Christ, who allows man to strive with him, not to defeat him, but to be blessed by him. Just as Jacob was wounded to be blessed, Christ was wounded to become the ultimate source of blessing for all nations. Furthermore, the naming of Jacob as Israel sets the permanent title for God's covenant people. The church, the spiritual Israel, is also defined by this principle. Our identity is changed from being supplanters, those who try to seize blessing by our own effort, to being princes with God, those who prevail through surrender and clinging to Christ. The entire Old Testament to New Testament symmetry flows through this identity change. From the individual Jacob, to the nation Israel, to the spiritual nation of believers. This transformative event teaches modern believers an essential, timeless lesson about surrender and God's character. First, it teaches identity through struggle. God often uses periods of intense spiritual struggle, the long night of fear, doubt, and crisis, to break our self-reliance. Just as Jacob had to be broken at the hollow of his thigh, we must surrender our natural strength, cunning, and self-dependence before God can give us a new, permanent identity. True prevailing with God requires letting go of our own will. Second, it teaches the power of persistence in prayer. Jacob's declaration, "I will not let thee go except thou bless me," defines the persistent, desperate prayer of faith that God honors. This is the trust that recognizes God is the only source of our true identity and blessing. We are called to wrestle, not to defeat God, but to hold him fast until his blessing transforms us. The ultimate lesson is that God's character is defined by redemptive purpose. He does not leave us in the shame of our past name. He gives us a glorious new identity, based entirely on his grace and our willingness to persevere in surrender. If you want to understand the next mystery behind Scripture, don't miss our next episode. Join us here on Bible Echoes, where timeless stories reveal eternal lessons.